Thank you so much. We are about to start. All our guests are here. They're just doing a quick round and to tell us how to proceed. We also have doctors that will be standing by. Answer men who want to pursue their health challenges or health program the way that is beneficial to all of us. We're excited to have everyone here. Today is the beginning of an awareness for all of us. We hope that good Lord will grant us the peace to enjoy today's interface. So on behalf of all the sponsors, Darren Call, Charlie Boy Foundation, the Injury, we have a very big list. We are glad to say that today is a commitment that we have made to bring men's health to order. So we are about starting now. They are all here, and I'm wish all of us a good celebration. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians and our distinguished guests. I recognize you. I recognize the middle past district governor of District 21 and you're welcome, sir. And I recognize the grandfather. I don't think it needs recognition because you're already known. I hope that those area boys will not come here because their father is here with their schedule. So you are most recognized our distinguished guests and gentlemen of the press. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Prostate Cancer Awareness Seminar, a joint area of focus program of Rotary Districts 9111 and District 9112. I'm delighted to see this gathering as we address a critical health issue impacting men, families, and communities across Nigeria. I'm pleased to see Rotarians on board in this meaningful way. Prostate for hope But through awareness, early detection, and support, we can expand this. This seminar is more than just education. It is a call to action through prevention, diagnosis, and treatment options. It is also a call to check in on ourselves as fathers, brothers, uncles, nephews, and friends. Through Rotary's disease prevention and treatment area of focus, we are committed to fighting diseases like prostate cancer with knowledge, strength, and passion. I thank our dedicated Rotarians, partners, experts, and speakers for making today's event possible. Let us make the most of this opportunity to learn, connect, and take steps to achieve a healthier and better tomorrow. We have made screening services available because knowing your status is the first step towards taking control of your health. I want to appeal to men who are above 40 like this or who have not gone to check. Please do so. It's just a few meters away from here. I encourage every man, especially those above 40 years of age, to take advantage of this service. It is free. Together, we will work effectively to make a difference in our communities, in ourselves, and across the globe. Thank you as I welcome to this seminar, and God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. Like he's highlighted, because scored, and a menace, if I must say, because it's taking out men, and we have come to a point where we say enough of this. Permit me at this hour. This may come emotional, but we'll try to manage our emotions. Help me celebrate a man whose experience birthed this vision. But sometimes they say, what doesn't kill you, what doesn't break you makes you somehow. There's a quote, it makes you stronger. Permit me to celebrate P.A.G. Sam Waku, a man who has been battling for his life, a fighter, a man who has remained rugged, saying he's not going to give in to prostate cancer. And out of his experience, this event is perfect. As we speak, he's in a situation that needs our prayers and support. So please, if you can give him a standing ovation. It will be appreciated. Help me in absentia applaud the bravery, the ruggedness, and the fighting spirit of P.A.G. Sam Waku. His experience has gathered us all here today. Thank you very much. And he's in our prayers and our thoughts. Thank you. You can have your seats. Moving on now to goodwill messages. I'd like to invite the chairman for Disease Prevention and Treatment, District 9111, a doctor where we have series of meetings. I mean, we're having daily meetings every single day. If I say, where's Doc? Doc is on this call, please, Doc. I feel like when Doc is on the call, I get this confidence that we're covered. You have done so much, Doc. And so please, I'll give the mic now to you.
Well, I understand on the existing protocols and so warmly welcome every guest that I invited this afternoon. In particular, Charlie Father, no longer Boy, but not very beautiful. I particularly appreciate my district governor, and then his counterparts, the second choice. It's because they all arise from the same mother, and that's now 1-0. So she gave birth to 2 babies at the same time, and so forever everybody joins in this district. You are most welcome, sir. As members to my immediate past district governor, a mentor, a brother, and everything who has done so well for this district and laid the foundation. I don't have much to say, but Dr. Abib and Dr. Chimo, you are most welcome. I'm sure they will give us the best that we can get this afternoon. The divine is going to join us partially as well. On that, without much ado, I want to welcome all of us this afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lily. Thank you for your indelible support. May I also invite the chairman of District 9112 Disease Prevention and Control, Lady Labo, as she takes a podium to say. Thank you. Please let's encourage them. They put in a lot of work.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't think I have anything extra to say. They've said it all for them. My dear men and parents, you are almost welcome to this awareness program. And I want to say a special thank you to the committee members and organizers, as sponsors, the media, and everyone that has made this event possible. We are honored a special guest with us, aka Ahira Father, the founder of Charlie Boy Foundation, and he's in the business of creating awareness of men's. And that's going to be very close from making honorary. So it's about to join some clubs. So before you have to go to club, so the island is going to grab me. Promise that. And I want to welcome my district governors, Harry Adejoni, District 9112, and with Akiyele, District 9114. So this program, like I said, is giving men an opportunity to be their prostate health, and there's always a need to learn from one another, and the compliments of the city to everybody. And as long as you are a man and you are here, you must take this opportunity to go and test. There's no need to shine the weapons. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Like I told you, this is an event or joined virtually by a team of medical experts in America, that's the United States of America. We have AMPA, that is the Association Nigerian doctors in Americas. These are Nigerian born, all practicing in the United States and giving back in so many great ways. With me on this hour now, and the president, Dr. Obi Ekwema, Dr. Iyori Jim, Dr. Obi, are you? I'll be connecting for that men get tested free absolutely today. I so they deserve a round of applause. I mean, they could have done something else with their resources, but they decided and they're committed to the advancement of mental health. Can we have a connection? Do we have Dr. Tobin, are you there?
I can hear you. Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
You need the mic.
Can you hear me? Good morning.
You can hear me. I don't think I can. You can hear. Hello, sir.
I can hear you very well. Good morning.
Who's speaking? Okay, he's on. I'm connecting him.
Are you able to hear me?
Hello, sir. Can you hear?
I can hear very well. Good morning.
No.
Is he muted?
It's not muted.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Dr. Obi, can you hear us? Okay, so we'll have to figure that out. We'll fill in and see how we can figure out technical glitches. Okay, moving on about switch, trying to figure that out. I don't know what the problem is, the connection apparently. May I also invite the president of Echo Cosmo, the president that is, CP Temi Tayo Ayorinde, as she comes and makes her goodwill. And she gave us support, the club gave us support, huge support. So you deserve this spotlight. So please help me celebrate a young riding club and going out there.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As a start, this first call's already home for me. So every time one of the things try to get things resolved. Use manual. It is okay for you to. So there is no such thing as manning up. There is no such thing as being a man. Please speak with someone. It might be your wife, it might be your children, it might be your friend, your confidant. Whoever it is, so please don't say silent and let us get checked. And once again, I appreciate every support from the organizations that we've had, particularly I was not with sisters. My message is in your pro support. So we need to support so that they are here longer to be able to carry us as a family. As we look forward to 2026, I hope that this message resonates with every woman, every child, to not leave our men alone. And we need to act quickly because our life, our future of our loved ones requires just a single step. And that step is getting tested. And that is well, we can do better experience. It's the support from pain to purpose. And it's not just saying, okay, my dad died from prostate, but I want to support so other men don't die just like my dad. So how selfless can that be? Can we please put our hands together one more time for CP? And sorry about the passing of your dad. May he so rest in perfect peace. I'd like to also at this point invite the president of Victoria Island East, a very supportive leader for this project, to be represented.
Hello?
Hello? Any other color? No, very cute guy. Thank you so much, Joanne, on behalf of your president. Thank you.
Thank you. My ODG, and I read the district of 1911. Our own uncle and father, and area father, RPDG, district 1911. Actually, I do. But I'd like to speak from a personal experience. I'm ably, representing my president, and that is Rise Casey Shawanda Demala. And what has driven this one past assistant governor, Simon Wako, who has battled prostate cancer, and I still battling the problem. And as my sister said earlier, one of the greatest challenges we have is that we can't speak out. As men, we find ourselves, because of our society, we are expected to be the kings, we are expected to be the man always. We are expected to cow in and act as if it is all good. We battle a lot of things. And I must say that I was talking to somebody when I entered this compound about an hour ago. I said, well, you can't speak out because when you wake up in the morning, you already have bills on your phone and you already have calls coming in, but you forget that pay. And before you know it, the day you're supposed to go to the hospital, they will tell you that your child needs something in school, and you forget your own health.
Hello? Hello?
You forget it. It keeps happening.
Hello?
And at the end of the day, those people are trying to attend to are the ones who start running around.
Hello?
How can I say that? Look, there's nothing that the greatest
Can you
gift
hear
you
me?
can have on earth.
I can hear you now.
No matter how rich you are, and the day you wake up and you realize that you have
Hello, can you hear me?
prostate cancer,
I can hear you.
That is the day we discover. And everybody that you are trying to attend to, that you are trying to be man, to be a man for, will be the ones to run around. So how do we save our families from sleeping? How do we save ourselves? We do our regular checks. And I'm grateful that this is happening today. And I'm saying to us all, let us always advocate for ourselves first. Because at the end of the day, advocacy for ourselves, watching out for ourselves, is watching out for the entire family and for people who love us.
Hello?
Thank you very much, and we're glad to be here.
Hello?
Please permit me to do the unusual because sometimes we get Mother's Day, Women's Day, Girls' Day. We celebrate women. But if you're a woman in this hall, you will stand up now. Whilst the men, please take your seats comfortably. You can cross your legs just like area father. Seats. Whilst we will celebrate the men who are providers, who put themselves. All right. Wait, sometimes they forget that they have needs. They have to provide for his wife. You provide for the children. You provide for his mother, his sisters, for his for friends. Who takes care of the men? Please give the men a respect. So Lord, and make the men here in this room feel special. Make them feel love. Men, celebrate our men. I say, well, we're being optimistic, but we pray that no man here falls victim. But I want to make a reference to a special man here. He's a man who brought Business Network International into Nigeria. Please, man, stand up and run here for a second, please. A respected man, respected globally. He brought BNI to the continent and in Nigeria. He was diagnosed early, and that's why he's standing here. 5 years ago, he was tested, and he was able to track it early on, and that's why he's here. Here's an example of early detection. Mazi, please come forward. Come give our DJs a handshake. He's a big man. He's guys. That's what big men like this. Powerful man, but very humble. Please help me celebrate this man. He's a man of influence. Please give our DJs a handshake. That is the man who brought BNI to Africa and Nigeria. So he deserves all the accolades, and he's a survivor because early detection saved his life. And I'm advocating for early detection. Thank you very much. And he's on his PSA test. Thank you. But Dr. Lloyd, I know you will do this. If you have not been tested, please, I am your man. Please, we can excuse you for a few minutes. This is more important. Go and get tested. It is free of charge. You're not paying anything. We understand that you're meant to pay. It runs into thousands and thousands. But we are partnered. People have paid on your behalf. And that's why we're here today. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Moving on quickly now, without further ado, I think it's about time. You should be warming up for our area father because a lot of us here are want to listen. But before we do that, we will call on the panelists, the panel session. We'll have the panel session so you can share and learn from the wealth of their knowledge, their banks. These are medical practitioners that are putting years of study, years of their time researching, and they will do justice for our panel discussion today. Ladies and gentlemen, please put on our screen our panelists, moderator. We have the moderator here, all the way from Victoria Island, East Victoria Nero, who will be doing us the honors of moderating this panel session. And we know that you know this is popularly called Thank you. We have the profiles of our panelists on the screen. Thank you. Do that quickly as someone else, our panelists are very have to get back to the OR, so have to get back to the hospitals to take on the day's job. Please can we have the multimedia team flash the once I call the name, you flash the image of the person, the panelist. Right. First, the moderator, Leora Ajayi, real estate investment advisor with over a decade experience building investments across Nigeria, developing big decisions in real estate. And our next panel to be joined by our panelists, help me welcome a very distinguished medical practitioner, Dr. Mitiu Jimo. Can we please have Dr. Jimo's picture? How do we flash? This is a man who had essential to see him in the hospital. We had to wait for 1 hour because he had to please take your seats. He was very busy attending to patients, but he's been very instrumental to the success. Dr. Mitiu Jimo, yes, that is he. He's a consultant clinical and radiation oncologist and a senior lecturer at the University of Ibadan. He specializes in the treatment of head and neck, breast, gastrointestinal, gynecological, and other major cancers, and is board certified in clinical radiation oncology by the West African College of Surgeons. He is a member of the American Society of Clinical Oncology and has published over 40 scientific papers contributing significantly to cancer research and patient care in Nigeria. The Jimo is also actively involved in teaching and mentoring medical students and residents at UCH Ibadan. Please help me celebrate and welcome Dr. Mitiu. He was meant to be in the States around about this time, but he's graciously has been here. Next, may I please invite Dr. Ajayi Ayodeji with me upstage. Please help give these men. These are men always standing, working, for hours in the theater. Dr. Ajayi Ayodeji Olubumi is an assistant director of clinical psychology at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba. With over 16 years of experience, he specializes in assessing and treating psychological distress, Nigeria's needs, and has served on national psychological support teams during the Dana air crash, Ebola outbreak, and COVID-19 pandemic. He's also an internationally certified addiction professional, a UNODC global trainer, and adjunct lecturer at KLM University. Please help me with another round of applause. Celebrate Dr. Ajayi Ayodeji here, who is a panelist here. Now, it's not just a man affair. You know, they say behind every successful man is a woman. You have the support of very beautiful and successful women. Next is Miss Oparole Shitsimi Sora. She is a registered dietitian. She's represented here, I recall. Where is the representative? She has the capacity. Okay. She's not here, so we have to skip that for want of time. Next, Dr. Mohammed Yakub Habibu. Dr. Mohammed Yakub Habibu is a consultant, radiation and clinical oncologist and head of oncology at NSIA Youth Cancer Center. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Lagos, a fellow of the West African College of Surgeons, and a specialist in treatment of prostate and other major cancers. With over 40 scientific publications and active membership in ASCO and ARCOR, he is committed to advancing career care and awareness in Nigeria. Thank you for your service, especially. These are men that are taking care of our own PhD. So it's passing on to us. And next, her representative. Okay, we can get past that. Next, we have another medical doctor, a man of great repute. Dr. Fumi Omisanjo is here with us, a very gentleman, good-looking gentleman, full of knowledge. He's a professor of urology at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Nassau, and a fellow of the West African College of Surgeons, specializing in prostate disease and men's health, with extensive clinical and research experience in prostate cancer diagnosis and treatment. He's currently leading important research on prostate cancer pathology alongside continue to improve understanding and better treatment outcomes. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Fumi Omisanjo. Thank you very much. And that is not all. One moment to balance the equation. We have Nonda Micho Mangongolu. I know she's virtually, she joined us virtually because she's not in the country, but she said she must be here. And there's a representative for her. Can we please have her representative? Mango was an experienced oncology nursing professional with over 24 years in general nursing. And just to also highlight the woman who is represented here, Simishola, she's a registered dietitian, nutritionist with a BSc and MSc in nutrition and diabetics from FONAB. So this is an array of very distinguished, respected, learned, experienced medical practitioners. So if I were you, I would take notes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, distinguished. What cancer really is and why early detection is so critical, especially among African and Nigerian men.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for having me. And all protocol duly observed. It's a pleasure to be here. Anytime we talk about prostate cancer, I think it's something anybody that talks about prostate cancer, we all should encourage, because it's a topical thing. As we all know, prostate cancer is the most common cancer in Nigerian men. Again, as a background, I normally tell people that if you check back in the days, 6-7 decades ago, there was an old study by Professor, I think it was Onsonga Lawani, where they looked at prostate cancer and they came up with the conclusion that prostate cancer was not common amongst Nigerian men way back then. And fast back about 5-6 decades down the line, in the same center in Ibadan, Professor Gumbi and Co did another study and they found that prostate cancer had become the most common cancer in Nigerian men. So it's moved from what was thought to be uncommon amongst Nigerians to what is the most common cancer in Nigerian men. So it's a topical thing. We can't talk too much about prostate cancer. So I'll put that background. So when we say cancer, generally, cancer is just a situation where cells in the body develop the ability to continue to divide in an abnormal fashion, in an uncontrolled fashion. Now, normally, you have cells in the body, the way growth occurs, it's a program thing. So cells will divide and get to a particular state. There are natural mechanisms in place to stop unabated, continuous division of cells in the body. So that is why our eyes will go to one level and stop. Our arms will grow to a particular level and stop. Our kidneys go to a particular state and stop. And that remains like that. But for some reasons, some cells in the body will develop an ability to just continue to divide, to move away from where they should be. The kidney cells will always stay in the kidney normally. The cells of the brain will stay in the brain normally. But when cancer develops, not only do these cells begin to develop abnormally, so that tissue will increase in size. Some of those cells can break away from their primary site and then go on to other parts of the body. And that can lead to all sorts of problems. So talking specifically about prostate cancer is then a situation where the prostate enlarges due to unregulated continuous division of cells in the prostate gland, with those cells having the ability to move away from the prostate and cause all sorts of destruction. Of course, there is a type of prostate enlargement that is not cancerous. That's what we call benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, which is just a big medical term for a prostate that is enlarged and is non-cancerous. And the reason I'm putting that in there is sometimes you hear a doctor say, oh, Mr. X has a prostate. What we mean by that, in very least, he has an enlarged prostate, because every man is actually born with a prostate. So a boy that's born in the hours of this morning has his own prostate. But a teeny thing, at puberty, there's a little bit of growth in it, and then when the man gets to the age of 40, 50, the prostate begins to grow again in most men. But the basic thing is the enlargement of the prostate will usually occur in one of two types: the benign one, which is the non-cancerous one, and the cancerous one, which is what we now call prostate cancer. I don't know if it's, I'm supposed to go to explain it.
Answer, why is early detection so critical?
So, like for most cancers, now, when people hear cancer, what people hear is death sentence. But that is not necessarily so. The danger with cancer is most of the time, by the time the cancer announces itself that it's there, most of the time that is already too late. The time most people can be cured of cancer, irrespective of whether it's prostate cancer, breast cancer, lung cancer, the time most people can be cured of any cancer will be in the early stage of the cancer. Unfortunately, most of the time, early cancers are asymptomatic. I mean, the person is fine. It's just like any of us here. The person is doing about his business. And so he just might not know. A doctor, a professor in any field cannot tell that he has early cancer. The only way to be able to pick early cancer most of the time is you have to actively go and look for it. Most cancers, by the time they become symptomatic, most of the time that's already advanced. Of course, you have a few instances where people are lucky, yes, the symptoms are there, but you can still pick the cancer early. So that's the conundrum we face in cancer care. Most cancers can only be big in the early stages when you actively look for them, you screen for them. That is, the patient is fine. The doctor is the one that encourages him to do the test to find out if the cancer is there, or he walks to the doctor to go to do that test. And that's the thing. It's difficult convincing people who are otherwise fine to want to go looking for something that is not troubling them, as people will say. And unfortunately, in this part, people will say the truth we do not know does not harm you. Of course, that's a fallacy. We know that's not correct. So in the early stages, invariably, the cancer will still be confined to the organ where it's coming from, whether it's the lung, it's the breast, or the prostate, and you have the opportunity to either surgically remove the whole of that organ or part of that organ with the cancer and potentially cure the patient completely of that cancer. Or you give the patient radiotherapy, the organ is still there, but the radiation, you cure the cancer instead of removing the organ. So the main advantage to picking early cancer, be it prostate or any other one, is it offers one the opportunity of cure. So the best thing for somebody will be to not have that is when the person can offer a cure. Once you miss that window and the cancer spreads, once it spreads, at best, what you're doing is damage control. We tell people you're doing your best, you're giving chemo, you're giving radiotherapy, you're doing surgery in some instances, whatever you do for a cancer that has, the word we will say is metastatic disease. Once it has spread, what you're doing is damage control. You are trying to suppress the cancer for some time. How long some time will now be will vary depending on all sorts of things, the aggression of the tumor, the actual location, the biological type, the resources you're able to deploy to treat the cancer. So the most important thing about early detection is that is the reason why we stress early detection for cancer is because that is the completely cure the patient of that cancer. It does not cure become with some other side effects and all that. We can cure people of prostate cancer and most of the cancers provided, and that's a very big issue, provided it is early. That is the importance of screening and picking cancers early.
Thank you very much, doctor, for that powerful insight. One more question, please. At what age then should men start screening? How often? And what symptoms should they pay attention to?
Thank you for the question. Maybe not as straightforward because again, we're talking about screening because I know this is when the public domain. I will need to add. There are people who argue against screening for prostate cancer. I need to throw that out there before I build on what age people should start screening how often and all that. Because there is a lot of, I won't say controversy, I'll put it as there's a lot of debate as to whether men should screen for prostate cancer at what age and the frequency. There are some things that are not to know. So generally we tend to lean on we err on the side of caution in this part. Why will I haven't said what we said in favor of screening? Why will some people say don't screen men for prostate cancer? There have been research that show that look, sometimes when you screen men for prostate cancer, some of the cancers you pick that way, some of the screen detected cancers are cancers that are so-called indolent tumors. Tumors that are not too aggressive, cancers that we say the patient will die with cancer rather than from his cancer. People argue that there are data out there to show that look, some of these men that have screen detected prostate cancer, even if you have left them alone, they will have died from other things rather than dying from the prostate cancer. And that by screening them and picking these cancers and treating them, you subject them to some of the side effects that can attend some of this treatment. So I need to say that there is an argument against screening. But in our own environment, we think it is better, it is safer to lean towards screening. Western world, you go to some countries in Europe, in North America, they no longer screen their men for prostate cancer. People downgraded it from something that you want to something you discuss with the patient. On the flip side is this, I also know that even in some of the Western world, people are beginning to look at screening. This is a common program. So, but the bottom line is this: in Nigeria, what do we advise men? Because this is a cancer that is generally aggressive in blacks. We have poor resources available to treat people. So, generally, even with the debate, or if you like, controversy for and against screening of prostate cancer, what most of us in Nigeria will say is once you cross the age of 50, it is good you check out your prostate at least once a year with a physical examination by your doctor, an ultrasound, and a PSA. At least once a year, once you cross the age of 50. But like I said, there are arguments against that. But that is the general advice we tend to give in Nigeria. And if there is a strong family history, even advise people to check earlier. Once you cross 40, if somebody has a strong family history, like a father, an uncle, or a brother with a family history, we still want to cross 40, but not later than 50 years. And it should be done annually.
Thank you very much for that. Now I want to go and look at what happens when it is not detected early. We're going to the oncologist now. Dr. Happy, please. When prostate cancer is detected late, what does that mean medically? What stages are we referring to, and what challenges does the patient face?
Okay, so I also want to stand on existing protocol, and I'll say both as just a bit with that, but I'll still talk more on that. So typically, stage 3 and stage 4 are late stage. When the patient presents at stage 3 or stage 4, we say the patient has presented late. And what is stage 4? Stage 4 is a condition when the patient has prostate cancer that has spread, that has left the primary site and is now involving another organ. Prostate cancer typically will involve the vertebral spine, that's the backbone, first. typically, but not exclusively. It can go any other place, but typically it goes to the backbone. For stage 3 is the nodes, the pelvic nodes that it goes to before stage 4. And for both cases, usually the patients might have started experiencing some signs and symptoms. The symptoms may mimic that of BPH initially, that's benign prostatic hypertrophy, which is painful urination. There can be also even hesitancy, not being able to you get to the toilet, but you are hesitant. You are afraid to even pass urine. There will also be urinary retention in extreme case where you are unable to pass the urine, and that's usually very agonizing. And you see that such patients, they have severe pain, severe distress. You have to take them to your hospital to fix catheter. Either at times, even the catheter, you are able to fix it. Then you now have to do suprapubic cystoscopy, go through this. And once that is relieved, typically you see the patient sleeps off because the patient must have been in severe agony for some time. Immediately you relieve, that's the agony, the patient sleeps. Also, it can present with what we call pathological fracture. It can result in weakness of the bone such that with little force that usually the bone is supposed to be able to carry, the bone is not able to carry. So the patient may present with fracture of the femur, the head of neck of femur, or other parts of the body. But most of the time, before it gets to this level, the symptoms the patient is supposed to have presented, in the hospital. And most of the time, for such patients, when you do their PSA, is usually handling. The PSA is ordinarily should not be more than 4, but we still accommodate 5, with monitoring. But when you see a patient come with PSA of 100 and some come with PSA of 4,000, 2,000, usually when you do imaging investigation, you see that the patient is in stage 4 most of the time when the PSA is that high. And the challenge with this is that when the cancer is localized, that's when it's within the prostate, it's easy to remove either the prostate or burn it to triglyceride. But the cancer cells are human cells. They are just not responding to the normal control. They are abnormal. So they now have the ability to spread rather than the main in the prostate. And they also have the ability to invade, that's damage other organs. And to deal with them, you would need systemic treatment. That you need a treatment that will go around the body. Here is the catch. The cells are human cells. What treatment do you want to give that will identify the cancer cell as opposed to the normal cells? That's why
we're going to go into that next, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that explanation. And that highlights the importance of early detection. And that's why we're gathered here today. And we are offering the free screening exercise. So take advantage of this opportunity to get tested. Now, Dr. Jimo, how has modern oncology improved the treatment of late-stage prostate cancer? What new therapies or technologies are making a difference?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. Permit me to also stand up the system protocol. Yeah, in the olden days, before the era of the modern technology, it's only the surgeons that really treats the prostate cancer. Right? But nowadays, we have radiotherapy with different modality, linear accelerator, they have much leaf coordinator, and that they can treat. We even have someone now in the world that can treat the prostate cancer now. He's talking about money apart from surgery, because at times when you do the surgery, there's another treatment that's synonymous to surgery, which is brachytherapy. Use of radiation to burn disease. These are the new technology that we have now. Instead of opening up the patient, remove the gland, they can also do brachytherapy, they can do extra beam therapy. So we have modern machines now, especially in SSI, we have machines now that can treat this disease apart from the use of surgery. Then we also have hormonal therapy. Now, in the olden days, they use only maybe first line hormonal therapy. Nowadays, we have another line, second line, third line hormonal therapy that can also use the treatment of late stage cases. Because we know that at this stage, we cannot cure, but we can manage the patient to also live a good life. So those are the things that were not before, but nowadays we have them for hormonal therapy, even the chemotherapy too. We have first line, second line chemotherapy that also present holistic also in addition to the chemotherapy treatment. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. And how are these decisions made? How do you know which of these treatments you will give to this particular stage?
Yeah, thank you very much. When patient presents to the hospital, in a single week, look at some factors that we have to consider before we choose the right treatment for patients. Part of the factors that we normally do, we look at the stage. Are we dealing with stage 3? Are we dealing with stage 4? Then we look at comorbid condition, we look at the fitness of the patient, age of the patient. These are has to be put into consideration before you choose. For example, now let's say like stage 4, and look at this patient that it's an elderly person can tolerate hormonal therapy and even radiotherapy. We do that cannot tolerate chemotherapy. But if it's a younger person that can tolerate chemotherapy, why not doing hormonal therapy with chemotherapy for this patient? Or even medicine with radiotherapy, or three regimen now: chemotherapy, hormonal therapy, and radiotherapy that we do for the patient. So you choose based on their stage, the age of the patient, comorbid conditions. Some people have diabetes and hypertension. You have to control this one before you choose the right treatment. So we individualize patients when they present at the hospital. We don't treat them the same. So when you see a patient, we have to look at those factors, we have to consider those factors before you have to put them on treatment. Hormonal therapy, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, which one comes first depends on that individual patient. That's what we do.
Okay, thank you very much for explaining that clearly. This is not to create fear, it's an opportunity to get this information and use it for our own good and for those of our loved ones. Now we are going to move on and bring the human side of care. Now I'm going to ask the oncology nurse at day 2. Thank you. From a nursing and day-to-day care perspective, what should a newly diagnosed patient expect during treatment? How would you help them prepare physically and emotionally?
Thank you very much. Good day, everyone. I'm standing on the same protocol. Okay, so it's important for me to emphasize that the patient's journey will not be in from diagnosis. Most times they've experienced symptoms at home that they are worried about, and that's what prompted them to present to us. So by the time they get to the diagnosis, the prostate cancer diagnosis, that anxiety, what they thought was just a mere inability to pass urine. And so the emotions are high and they are quite overwhelmed. And from do initially is provide education. Every month, this is going to be every month, this is going to be every 3 weeks. Oh, you need to pass a catheter because you're not passing it well. Oh, your catheter. That's what. The result of that. So you will have to continue and what type of treatment you offer to patients. For instance, like Prof mentioned earlier, that if patient can go for surgery, and so for instance, for surgery, the kind of care we provide as well to different coming for therapy. For surgery, it's all around patient education about the aspect of the surgery. Doctors are done that, we're just be emphasizing for them about bowel care, bladder care, and also pelvic exercises. So for patients that are going for radiotherapy, tell them about how we are going to feel the bladders and the skin changes that will be associated with therapy. Also for chemo, we tell them about some of the side effects in acute fatigue, around nutrition area, also talking about it and exercises. Then emotionally, like I mentioned earlier, it's a roller coaster of emotion for them. So create a safe space where they can express what they are feeling, because 3 days sensitive topic to discuss for them, because it's also about sexuality. And men have human support system. And so as nurses, what we do is we create that space for them where they can express what they are feeling and how they are going to go through it.
Thank you very much. That reminds us that cancer care is both medical and emotional. Now we're going to go to the psychologist, Dr. Ajayi. Please, while we are in the panel session, please take down your questions so that when we are done with this session, we can take your questions quickly. Thank you. Dr. Ajayi, cancer diagnosis often comes with fear, denial, or depression. How can patients and their family emotionally, especially when diagnosis come late?
Thank you very much. Once again, I want to welcome every one of us to this wonderful program and all protocols duly observed. We're talking about we're having a conversation which is very important and very timely. One of the things we need to understand is that there are realities and there are myths. A lot of that people face because we're very religious people. Oh, it will never happen to me. Oh, I text in Jesus. Yes, but it happens to me. That's the reality we have to face. So sometimes when emotional issues happen, I always lead my patients through serenity prayer. I say, God, give us serenity to accept things that we cannot change. Courage to change the ones we can, and wisdom to know the difference. When people have late diagnosis, obviously it comes with depression. Depression is a pervading feeling of sadness. When people have a sense of feeling of worthlessness, helplessness, hopelessness, there's what we call the cognitive triad. What are the cognitive triad? Negative perception of themselves, negative perception of the environment, negative perception of their future. For most of them, they feel there's no future. In fact, at that point in time, some of them are battling with suicide. That this is going to cost me so much. This is going to affect my physical health. It's going to affect my family. It's going to affect my wife. It's going to affect a lot of things. I better end it now. So the one that is going to provide that hope. In an hopeless situation, that providing hope. So the essence of providing hope is the fact that we need to change false cognition. What is false cognition? We call them mindsets or schema. A lot of people have different types of distorted cognition. Sometimes when you are faced with reality, it's what we can accept is most important. A lot of people get stuck. At the moment you are stuck, nobody can help you. You know what you're able to do. So psychologists, what we focus on is to get them to that point where they are stuck. They tell you that, oh, I will obviously die. Then you want to ask them, what's the percentage of people who die from this cancer? Okay, if you are going to die, most you die miserably. So because you want to take them through end of life adjustment, because you know some of them will surely die. Everybody will die one way or the other. Unfortunately, there are sometimes that I've seen patients that have physically ill cancer, and some of their sleep that don't have any illness. They die from accident, from high blood pressure, or whatever. They were simply very healthy. They came to announce to them that your brother is dead, and now have that you expected that person to die before you. And those are the realities of life. Sometimes you make them face all those realities. Once they are stopped, they will be able to move forward. So you need to get them to the point of what? So a lot of sobriety questioning, instead of reality, to change functional thoughts that this thing is like this, and it's going to end up like this. It may not end up that way. The fact that my people have been saying that this everything that is red that burns. It may look like fire, you know, we have a lot of survivors. Area fire is one of them as we have said here. So people have survived. So there are chances of survival. And that you need to work. You need to actually place that hope. Let them understand that there's hope regardless of outbound situations. So a lot of time what we do is that we help family members, because sometimes through their family members, they can watch the situation. Some of them, when they talk about it, they are looking at them, like, okay, maybe one of these things will die very soon. They started sharing the problems. That will make the person die even earlier. emotional issues can actually be overwhelming. They can make people die before they test. So a lot of them facing end of life issue with a lot of adjustment with them. For most of them, they need to understand that okay, if this thing is evidence that I have to die, how do I die? How do I prepare for death? End of life issues are very important. So sometimes their wife can't prostate cancer. Sex can be possible. Yes, how do you explain that to the wife? Those is very important. For their children, how do the children also come into the support? Because most of this is just support. And the support goes a long way. And research has found that support is very, very important in times of chronic illnesses like cancer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. We must focus on the positives and hope there is support for patients with prostate cancer. Thank you. Now we're moving on to nutrition and lifestyle management. Ms. Okpayemi, people often ask whether supplements or herbs or special teas can cure cancer. Nutrition plays a big role in treatment and recovery. What foods help support patients and what foods should be avoided?
Thank you very much. Starting on the established protocols. We know that diet is one of the enjoyable aspects of our lives, our daily lives. We all eat one way or the other. And food has a way of helping us nutritionally. So for case of cancer, we know that food can be curative and can be preventive. So for preventive, as I don't have cancer, I want to live a healthy lifestyle. I will encourage that we eat healthy. How can my food be healthy? My plate should be balanced. Adequate meal should be free from refined products, should be free from high foods with very high sugars, very high in salt, saturated fats. I should increase my consumption of fruits, vegetables, foods that are very high in fibers. Should be part of my diet for the preventive aspects. Now for the curative, because cancer comes with a whole lot of very overwhelming symptoms. Depending on the types of treatment, with surgery, chemotherapy, or radiotherapy, each of these treatment has its own symptoms that affect the nutrition. Basically, some can come with loss of appetite. Some lose symptoms from each of these treatments. However, once such patients approaches us, what we tend to do is because our own treatment is individualized, what we do for gently is there are foods that actually be found to help us to delay the progression of prostate cancer. So we have foods like food that are very high polyphenols and catechins, which are fruits and vegetables. So we encourage 5 portions of fruits every day. So we can try to mix our fruits, it should not be particular fruits or vegetable because all of these have their own vitamins and minerals. So we can combine, we could do carrots, we could do watermelon, because also lycopene is one of the very nutrients that helps cancer treatment. So tomatoes and watermelon has lycopene in it, so we could include it also in the diet. We have foods that are very high in calcium also can be added to the diet. Water liver, vegetables generally can be added to our diet. Parents will encourage them to go away from lean red meat, that's foods that are very high fatty foods, that's red meat, do more of chicken or fish, do whole grains, do more of lentils, beans, pulses. That can actually help relieve patients and then delay the progression of the disease.
Excellent, thank you very much. So we have heard now that foods can be preventive and curative. So let's pay attention to how we eat, especially once we are over 40. Dr. Omisonjo, what are the biggest myths you want Nigerians to unlearn about prostate cancer today? There are many myths in the communities. For example, cancer is a death sentence. It was mentioned earlier, or is a spiritual attack. What do you want us to unlearn about that today?
Thank you very much. I think the easiest one to say would just be to think that maybe two things. What you said is a spiritual attack. It's difficult. The reason why I hesitated is, being in the scientific community, sometimes when you can put, data to support something, so is that the most important one? Maybe not, but it is an important one. The fact that prostate cancer is a spiritual attack. We're all spiritual beings. All of those things. It's a medical condition, and the most important thing is it is treatable. When it gets to the point where people are facing the inevitable, yes, spiritual support is important. But for talking about prostate cancer generally, the emphasis again should be getting it at a time. I said it. The most important thing is the best thing would be to not have prostate cancer. The next best thing is if somebody will have prostate cancer, he should pick it at a time when it can be cured, which is the early stage. And the only way to pick it would then be to go for screening. So we need to come out of that bit that this is an attack and the solution to prostate cancer is spiritual. I tell you, there are cures. Options of cure for prostate cancer, surgery, and there are different options of surgery. All the options of surgery, luckily, are now available in Nigeria. So there's absolutely no reason why anybody should be afraid of surgery. Most of the options for radiotherapy, curative radiotherapy for prostate cancer are also available. So we need to come out of it. Prostate cancer is a medical condition that is treatable and completely curable if picked early. The other one is this thing about supplements and herbs, if you allow me. Somebody said an interesting thing to me about somebody who used the herb, and within 2-3 days, not only did the prostate shrink, even the catheter that the man had passed had fallen off by itself. And I was like, wow. I wish I could have access to that herb, because that is not a herb working, that is voodoo. And I will tell you why. Because when you pass a catheter into a man, the reason why the catheter doesn't fall off is because there's a balloon that is distended at the tip of the catheter inside the bladder that retains it. That's why we call it a self-retaining catheter. there is no medication the doctor can give you, not to talk about the herb that will, yeah, you can treat the prostate, but that will then burst that balloon and it will come down. If the balloon burst because it was going to burst. Because there are times we pass catheters that have not been stored in good conditions and all that, and so sometimes even the catheter that the doctor will pass before the patient leaves the clinic, the catheter falls off. So people use some of these one-off things to then say there's this magical herb. I'm sorry, I'm not trivializing things. You may have herbs that may help, that may complement things, but to think that prostate cancer can be cured by herbs and supplement, that is a myth. Prostate cancer is not spiritual, it's a medical condition, and it can be cured. And that is what we should go for. We should look for taking it that doesn't need to be, it can be cured, which is looking for it to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. We are grateful for that. Now, to each of the other panelists, could you give us one single piece of advice in 30 seconds to everyone listening today to wrap up the session?
Okay, so what I'm going to say here to wrap this up is that, like you said, prostate cancer is a medical condition and it can be cured when detected early. And getting an early diagnosis does not mean that life will end here. It means that you can actively seek for support, and that support will result in cure. It is purely curable. We can cure it. We can work with you to reach a stage where you are cancer-free. So I'm just going to plead with everyone that you should get tested, get screened, and also seek care when it arrives. Thank you. Dr. Habib?
Yes, I would say that it's not every case of prostate cancer that requires treatment. Importantly is that at 50, you must have had at least one PSA done. That is non-invasive. Your blood will take it, and then if in your family you have males, like your close relative that have prostate cancer, then you go it earlier. Because usually those who have family history, they have it earlier and a more aggressive type. So it's even more important that it's hot. So at 40, you must have done, PSA test.
Thank you. Mr. Bayani, please.
Thank you. Like one of our motto is you are what you eat. Whatever you take in is what you bring out. For there are no particular food that has actually been said to cause cancer. There are only risk factors. And in the risk factors, we have modifiable factors, we have unmodifiable factors. Now for the modifiable factors, diet is one of it. So you can actually live healthy. You can actually be free from all to reduce your chances of having prostate cancer and all other cancers if you eat healthily. Reduce consumption of sugar, reduce consumption of saturated fats, reduce consumption of refined products, reduce consumption of fatty foods, ultra processed foods. Let your food contains high foods that are very high in fiber, fruits and vegetables. Take a lot of water, do physical exercises. With that, you can live a healthy life. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ajayi, in 30 seconds, please.
Thank you very much. The mind is very powerful. And the truth of the matter is that sometimes they have physical toughness and the mind is very weak. So when they are susceptible to illness, they easily give in. Resilience, mental agility, mental strength goes a long way to help us fight all these issues because they are realities of life.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, part of the risk factor for prostate cancer, we talk about smoking and alcohol, which works synergistically. There's no reason for Africans to smoke or drink alcohol. But if we need to take, let's reduce the alcohol and smoking intake and also increase our exercise. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I want to give opportunity to the audience for just 2 questions. Okay, one. Another person? Okay, let's take the 2 questions. They're there together. Please keep your questions very brief and general because the doctors will not be able to take personal medical histories today.
Okay, thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. And thank you all our panelists. My DG 1 and 2, I say very good afternoon to you. This is Charles Obuta. I say very good afternoon. My unit was the governor. Sir, there is a current, very recent, there is a TV program I watched, and a medical doctor on that station actually said something that I'm still finding very difficult to accept. And he said there's a number of times that a man can copulate with his wife that will actually reduce prostate cancer. And being a science student, I find it very difficult to accept because I quite understand that a man's reproductive system takes a number of times before after sex before you can actually gain those things that you have lost. Then how does that translate to perhaps 20 times in a week for that to actually reduce?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That question is going to be controversial, so I'm going to direct it to Dr. Ajayi.
Hello. Well, actually, your apologies you answer.
Thank you very much. It's simple. Now, the basis for that thing is so that there have been some studies. Just like the lady mentioned that, look, you go talk about risk factors for cancer, diet, and all that, but you can say it's a particular meal that will cause this, a particular meal will not cause it. So there have been studies that actually suggested that men who have more frequent ejaculations, whether with their wives or with, let's just say that, but men who have more frequent ejaculations had a lower risk of developing prostate cancer than men who had less frequent ejaculation. So there were actually studies that showed that. But there were other studies that either, counter that really wasn't so. So that's out there. But what is clear is this. You cannot say that once a man meets this number of ejaculations per week or per month, he will not have prostate cancer. That is another fallacy. So what we just tell men is be as sexually active as you can. Because in any case, even if you have an ejaculation every minute, there are other factors that can override whatever protection you can get by frequent ejaculations, the man's genetic makeup, exposure to other things and all that. So what a man cannot do is hope that because he has met this requisite number of ejaculations in a month, he therefore will not have prostate cancer. So be as sexually active as you can in a healthy relationship. that does not equate to not having prostate cancer. The most important thing is what we're doing, which is to check, and what allowed me to go that way, what Charlie Man is doing, which is being an advocate for prostate cancer, because we need more advocates for prostate cancer outside of the medical space. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Prof. The next question, please.
My question is, what kind of exercise can you do to prevent this kind of thing? I've not really heard anything about exercise.
Yes, when we say exercise, we mean the real exercise, not the wrong exercise. That's the do cardiovascular to make you sweat. You understand? Regular exercise. And it's not supposed to, it doesn't prevent it, it reduces the risk. There's nothing you do that will completely prevent having any form of cancer, but you can reduce the risk by doing the regular exercise. Maybe like jogging for 20 minutes, something that will just make you sweat. Maybe that's a week or twice a week. You know, the normal exercise, not any other type of exercise. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'll say a big thank you to our brilliant panelists for your clarity, expertise, and compassion. To our audience, we thank you for your engagement, and we hope that today's discussion empowers every family represented here. Prostate cancer is not a death sentence. Knowledge, early action, and support makes all the difference. Thank you very much. Please, I'd like the panelists to please step down for a group photograph.
Thank you very much. I told you an area of very intelligent, great, distinguished men and women of great repute, and they have done justice to the topic prostate cancer prevention, prevent detection, how we can save lives. And of course, we have drawn from the back and the knowledge that they have shared here today. Now we give them another resounding round of applause. These are very busy men. Oftentimes you find them in the OR, the ER, but they're here attending to patients, but they're here today sharing ways that we can mitigate against the scourge that is taking the lives of men. And we're saying enough of this. Enough of this. Thank you. Hold it. I think our advocate should join this photograph. Advocates, please. Our advocates. Yes, very short. Okay, please join. Sponsor, please join. Join. Child, please join. Thank you. So sorry. Join. Advocate, just to let you know specifically, I've been told to send this personal message and remark to you all the way from the United States of America, and that is from Dr. Obi Ekwema, the founder of Claron Call Care, who is a lead partner for this event. He sent his warm regards to you. He's listening, and he will join us. We'll try to connect again shortly. Thank you. Is there a sign for prostate cancer, like prostate something? Is there any? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Our duties usually have very busy schedules, and they have been here. Dr. Obi, we're getting to you now. Can you hear us? Oh, he's in clinic. Okay, he's in clinic, so you can speak to us. Okay, but your one regard to Charlie, the advocate, Charlie Man, advocate, Sadi, Smurl Pass. And can you say hello to Dr. Obi?
Dr. Obi, how are you? Okay, this is Charlie Boy saying no. No. Point of correction. It's never Charlie Man. You're gonna know this funny than Charlie. Okay?
Oh, but respect. It's not Sima calling me. Oh boy, it's like so I was raised with respect. So call the boys good child, father. Hey, can we have call your back? Area father. Hey, that's easier. But see that boy, it's heavy. I can't say it. So sorry, sir. Maybe no sir. Where is the can we have a steak that podium back? Thank you very much. And now we're going to the session. This session, I'm personally interested. Can we have the photo that has Ladies and gentlemen, can we please take our seats? We've had a super powerful panel session, and that's not all there is. So to come, the session that will blow your mind. I can tell you this for free, because this is not a man you see on the regular. You just see, I know he's a father to the people on the streets, but we must accord him the respect, the honor that he truly deserves, because he has worked, he has earned it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to listen. Can we please have some quiet? Do we have an SA for this event? I think I'll nominate Dr. Emeka, past president Emeka. Can you please serve as an SA? I know you can make money for us. All right, so we can have some form of orderliness here. It is now time tonight to take the stage. I think we just need 2 seats here. Can we please have our volunteers take out the 4 seats whilst we have just 2 seats? Can we please have volunteers? Where are volunteers, please? Volunteers, please. Rotary is about volunteering. We volunteer. That's what we live for. We live for service. A service above self. Please. Thank you very much. Thank you. To be anchored this session exclusively for the one, the only area father. This session will be moderated or anchored by a very beautiful, intelligent, intentional Rotarian of great repute who has done this all over the world with her expertise. You're going to see, I don't need to say too much. And she has also built a connection from the first time she met area father, and she's a perfect fit for this. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished Rotarians, help me with a round of applause. Welcome, Rotarian Caroline Wood from the Rotary Club of Ikoyi, my personal friend, and who will stand in this committee. All right, take your seats. I'm jealous now. She'll be sharing the stage with just you. Oh, but it's all good. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Are you trying to wait for me to come? She's a gentle, she's actually an Oyibo in Nigeria. Uncle Johnny, wait now. Wait, you should the emperor. They talk about it. People are sorry. Wait. DJ, Jamie, the emperor. Please go, sir. Come and take your seats. Take your seat. DJ, please. The ministry has to move perfectly. A man who champions mental health campaign, educates the public about mental health through a variety of platforms. A man who commands the attention of men, women, boys, girls, and he's helped and established guidance and assistance to individuals seeking health. And his approach to promoting understanding, early intervention, and reduction of stigma surrounding mental illness and mental health has gained prominent attention across the globe. And he's a man, if you are depressed, you can talk to. If I'm looking at international seats, ladies and gentlemen, teach you have to be in sync. Do you have that song on cue? All right, VH people. DJ, ladies now. DJ, play. It's okay. Good thing they take time. Don't come in easily. You have to wait or start shine sometimes. It's like we'll sing it for ourselves too. The emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here. Let me sing it, please. Please help me welcome our own advocates. And I give the mic now to you.
Today, it's not a day of performance. We have lived with a brand name of Hollywood, right from when I was in high school. So today, it's not an entertainer we're seeing a man who has gone through fire. Fire. Gone to the end of that fire and has come out, evolved to be a better person. So it's not the entertainer child boy today that is going to entertain you, but it's a man who will tell you what it takes to go through fire, to fight the fear, because when you hear answer, it's like a death sentence. Am I right? There's a fear attached to it. It's like a death sentence. So going through that challenge with loved ones, with a wife, with a grandchild, with children, with great grandchild, it's tough. But you will hear today the horse's mouth. So I want you, it takes a lot of courage to come out and say, this is what I have done too. It takes a lot of courage for Uncle Sam, who is in his sick bed, to arrange this and talk about it. So ladies and gentlemen, it's not just clapping for this courageous advocate. I need you to all rise up and give him a resounding clap for coming out to talk about this. Please stand up. It's not easy. So, I respect your courage. You have one mic? Sure. You can share the mic. Can we have an extra mic? So.
Before you start, I have a complaint. I don't hungry. They know they take hunger, they do anything. But you can go on, yeah.
And we appreciate you. And we thank you for staying back. So let me start this way. Courage is not the absence of fear, but a triumph over it. Your story, once whispered in shame, becomes a lifeline when spoken with strength. Because the life you saved by breaking the silence may not just be your own. So on that note, I would ask you these questions. And the first one is, personal journey came with the silence. Can you take us back to the moment you first received your diagnosis? What was going through you? To speak openly about your experience rather than keeping it private.
Okay. I've been involved in so many fights in my life. My first fight was against the Kingdom of Justice, Chibudifo Buta, as his son. And I wanted to do me, and he wanted me to do something else. I won in that fight. And there's so many numerous fights I've been engaged with apart from the great Afro icon Fela Nicolako Kuti. I think I've been the artist that's, had the worst beaten by the police, the army, the DSS, and so on. I've always, since childhood, I've always been sort of pitch my tent with the voiceless, with the less privileged, because growing up and wanting to become who I have become to do wasn't an easy one to do, judging from the family I come from. So when I was diagnosed as having the first stage of this disease, for me, another fight was good. And I said to the doctor, my doctor, do what you got to do, but I'm surviving this. Because he told me his suspicion about something. He quite didn't know until we had an over again. And when he said to me, "You're lucky. I mean, this is just started. So this is an opportunity to yak it off." I didn't stop there. I went on national television, okay, to say, Mike, you know you walk again. And this is what we need to do to be prepared in case we have anybody is about to go through that. This is what I'm going to do. And it was from that moment that the Charlie Boy Foundation started brewing in my head, what to do to help out there, especially men. Who I know as, especially in this Nigeria. Yeah, I've always been engaged in so many fights in my life. So fighting the prostrate challenge was just one of them.
Oh, wow. So thank you for sharing with us. Do you want to share us the particular year this started?
This was about, I think in 2023. Yeah, that's when I was diagnosed with it. Yeah.
Just about 3 years ago?
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
And it was at the initial stage. It wasn't advanced.
No, I think we were at stage 1 with it. But because you see, I'm always thinking about my health. I'm always fussing about my health. I come from a family where health matters are very important. And since I turned 40 years old, I'm 75 now. Since I turned 40, I was gifted with the wisdom to make sure that I follow the family part. My father lived till 102. So did my mother, 105. And I'm not going to be any different. I just want to be healthy.
Wonderful. And God will grant your wishes.
Yeah, I've already done that. I'm blessed, so forget it.
Yeah. A second question. Many men struggle to discuss prostate health due to stigma or discomfort. What barriers did you face in sharing your story, and what finally empowered you to break your silence?
Well, if you know anything about me, I say it like I feel it. When I went public with my challenge, I had no shame in my game. Fellow brothers, they understood what I went through, and they understand also that this is something, if caught early, like everybody has said, if caught early, you could fix. This is not something that is meant to kill anybody, but you need to pay closer attention to your health. And I'll say something, you can say controversial again. I'm talking to men out there. I need you guys to start to be very selfish, excessively selfish about your health, about your protector and the provider. If we are not well, what happens? This boat will sink. We were born with the chest. Yeah, they cry a lot. Or if something affects me, I will cry. I will even cry with everybody here. I cry because I don't know who sits safely. You understand? So I'm not into that. If anything is happening, you're going through something, you chest it. That is a sign of a man. Oh, I don't agree with that. So I'm urging men to please, because now when you get your health together, when your body gets crack, that is when you can attend to your responsibility. Because if you are not healthy, there is no way that you're going to be thinking about family or children. And anybody here, depending on children or depending on wife, or say that when it happens to you or when it starts happening to you, that they will be there for you. You're making a big mistake, because they may not be there for you. Your wife may not be there for you. Your children may not be there for you. I wasn't waiting for anybody to be there for me. Like I said, I'm the fighter, so I had to go the whole knock myself. So I think it's high time men start to be selfish. And they can only do that by forcing over their health, making sure that in your own family, your health as a man comes first before anybody. And that's the way most of us can escape this.
Oh, thank you for sharing. So it's more like a self, so it's more like a self-thing, that we should really go out there and think about ourselves, especially the men.
Especially men.
Right.
Because men are going through quite a lot in this economy, because they are the providers, they're the protector, they are the leaders in the family. They have to think about every other thing first, their responsibility is so humongous. So yeah, the best favor you can do for yourself is to be a little bit selfish. You come first before anything and anybody.
Thank you for sharing that, Father. Let's look at question 3. Prostate cancer affects more than just physical health. What were some of the emotional challenges you faced during treatment? And how did you navigate the fear, uncertainty, or moments of doubt from the doctors? Even though you're a fighter, yes, we know you're pretty strong, but how did you,
I won't lie to you. It did affect me psychologically, because I started noticing, I started withdrawing from sex. Okay, I started having anxiety before sex. So, but when I look back at my life, 10 children, 14 grandchildren, 1 great grandchild, I say, wait till I take this kid into again. I don't try now. You understand?
So I had to fight that. Even I had to explain over and over to my wife why I've become the way I am. Okay. And it's not till I got her interested in reading, researching about this that she now, before she did think say maybe which side chick they do worry so, which people come from your village where they worry so. I say it's nothing like that because in my 45 years being married to one woman, no, nobody don't hear any scandal about me. And you will never wait, don't clap. That does not mean I'm a saint too. I'm not saying I'm a saint. I am man. I know I talk like that too. But I've been loyal. Not faithful, loyal to that relationship.
Right. Is that your American wife, Lady D?
Yeah, Lady D.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And how is she of the question here? How, because I know she's American, how was she able to integrate into our society? I mean, from the US.
No, that's it. I think that girl, yes, I met her in America. She's an American, but I think she comes from NBC, if you ask me. Yeah. Because when I just had nothing but a dream, I came back, I think 1980, because of my father's women, bearing and cankerous, discipline. I had to move to the village. I sort of disowned my parents, to get my freedom. So I moved to the village. I didn't have money. I didn't have a car. I didn't have anything but my dream. And that's how I started from my village. When I was selling paper soup and doing small studio, collecting pittance from artists who wanted to do their demo. That was how I survived the village. And then here with an American wife, I came back with all I saw her doing was whistling, like feeling like, I said, what did they worry this girl? It's not like there's no money even to eat at that time. You can read all of this in my book. It's called 999. There it is right here. 999. And 999, some people want to be mischievous and say 666. I say, even if you call it 666, it's all the same thing. 999 just means the end of a particular season in your life and the beginning of another one. Because I believe that right now, at this point in my life, I can see clearly. I have more wisdom to deal with whatever God puts in my front. So I'm a different person from what I used to be even 5 years ago. So Diane incorporated, nicely, and that's why it's not been rosy. Okay, but I always say marriage, not management. There's no marriage that is trouble-free. There's no marriage like a fairy tale. It's a lie. It's just management. You have to agree that we both die here, and that's what we've agreed to do. To die here.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. Because that was an important question to know the kind of support you have at home and how you your wife supported you. The next question is, was there a particular turning point? Was there a particular turning point in your mental health journey? A moment when your mindset shifted from simply surviving to truly living. And what helped you reach that place? Because you said you're a better person than five years ago, you have more wisdom. So what is that moment when the mental health journey shifted from just surviving the cancer to now truly living that each day, each time means a lot to you?
I didn't go through all that emotion. Okay. But after my surgery and all of that, after the first few months, I went to try my luck. And to my surprise, the thing was working on this. But like I said, psychologically, it did break me down. Yeah. And then when I noticed that I don't need sex, like I needed exercise, good food, healthy living, okay, even sleep. I used to tell people I'm a professional sleeper because once I put my head on the pillow, I'm out. I don't need to take any drugs to go to sleep. But I think that's what God gave me. God gave me that one too. So there was not a point I was struggling with, how am I going to do this? No. Like I said, what do you say to a man? Listen, I had my first child when I was 17. That's how come I ended with 10 children, 14 grandchildren, a great grand. I don't be today person now. Come on. You don't change now. So after all that gallivanting and then this, I was not had enough. I was just worried on behalf of my wife. But I've discovered that the joy of sex is not just penetration, At least you guys can understand what I'm saying. It's not when you penetrate a woman that is you've had sex. There are other ways to enjoy sex than just penetration. So when you compare notes.
Ladies, is he right? Is he right, ladies in the house? Is he right, ladies? Okay, right. Because most men think that it's just that, and in 5 minutes it's all over.
No. That's not it. Anyway, they're learners. They just come to the game. They don't know how far. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So yeah, it was very easy for us to readapt to change my
the change mentally and physically, you know.
So, our gentlemen, you've heard it. It's not just the physical absence of that. You can still enjoy it. You can still enjoy it with or without that. For women, it's not necessary that it pleases them. There's more to it than just you can hear from the horse's manner just going in there.
Depends on who you're talking to. Different strokes, they say, for different levels.
Well, after this event, if you want to see him personally, to get more education on how to make a woman feel good without 10 minutes or 3 minutes of that, you can access.
Say it like it is. Without penetration, how do you have sex without penetration? Well, I don't say it. So
that is our brand Charlie boy. Our brand Charlie boy. Father.
Okay. I don't know what question you intend to ask me later. I'm feeling kind of hungry.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, I want to put out something here. My foundation, I hear you're screening 100 people.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know whether you have that number to screen 100 people.
80
plus. Can we, my foundation will be willing to screen, the bill is on us, willing to screen 50 more people. No, I never finished. Look up. You're not finished now. And my foundation will be willing, as soon as if we can do it as a Christmas present for a lot of people, we'll be willing to also finance and sponsor the screening of 400 people.
Wow.
If we can do it in 4 seats, anywhere, it could be between Charlie Boy Foundation and the Rotary Club. Because you see, what I went through,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Generosity.
Please let us be, because I know they like day place where they push. You go be start and push. Let's be serious about this. Like as I said, if we can have 400 people screen before Christmas, anyway you guys want to set up and do that, we'll pay for it. The foundation will pay for it. Okay. And then since you guys have informed me, you see, I'm targeting that thing guy is wearing, and see the one this guy is wearing. All that gold chain. When I don't say if I wear like that, it go fit me. I for wear my own content. You know much. You know. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your generosity. In cognizance of the fact that we need to eat, so I'm going to ask you one more last question. I go. This is for the crowd, for those who are here. So, what message do you hope men, especially those in our community, will take away from your story about the importance of early detection and proactive health management?
I just said it. Men learn to be selfish. Yourself first, because now when you are healthy, both up here and physically, that's when you can operate at your maximum. That's when you can take care of your responsibility. Because if something starts to worry you, everything shuts down till you solve that problem. And may God not bring cancer upon you. It's not your portion. It's not anybody's portion here. Thank you. Can I go?
Thank you so much. Let's give a resounding ovation to please stop still on stage. May I invite you? Okay, it's okay. Wait, after decoration, this is an important aspect now. Our revert DG. Our district governor has a special presentation to make. He will be joined by the twin DG because it's a collaboration today. So we invite the DG please on stage as our advocate will be decorated specially. And this is the way of welcoming him to the fame, Hall of Fame of honorary Rotarians. My DG, sir, I'll give the mic to you now.
Thank you, my twin brother and IPDG boy. When area father came initially, he saw this on me, and I told him that there is a second person coming that we also see. So when my brother DJ Eric came and he saw it, he said that I won't be like now. I said, well, it has to be gradual. You could be like us, but you will do it gradually because Rome was not built in a day. So it is on that note that I'm joined by my twin brother here and the immediate past district governor of this 911 to formally induct Charlie Boy, Mr. Charles Okuta, the son of an eminent jurist, one of the greatest jurists that have ever lived, not only in Africa, but in the world. And if you know Justice Chukwudifo Okuta, they call him Socrates in his lifetime. His ways are different from the ways of his father. He has said it. If you know Justice Okuta, you will know that him and Taliboy are two parallel lines. They don't meet for any reason. But he's a responsible person in his own rights too. So we must give it to him. His lifetime is still a shining example to the youth. Faithfully married to one woman. When I know the lion, no, they won't go to. So he's the true son of his father. And on this note, it is my pleasure to formally induct him as honorary Rotarian of the Rotary Club of Victoria Island East.
We have to welcome in the Rotary Way. Please, PhD, we dedicate a short Rotary song.
Vivi la Rosary, vivi la Rosary, Giuseppe, vivi la Rosary, vivi la Rosary, vivi la Rosary, Giuseppe, vivi la Rosary.
Just to let you know that this is all precedented. We're surrounded by 2 district governors, their excellencies, the government citizens, district 911 and 912. Double decoration, double honors, and it is brown well deserved. So I have to tell you already. Thank you so much. So we'll pass the mic for your remark. Are you accepting or rejecting? Yes.
I'm overwhelmed. Flabbergasted. And in fact, I'm speechless.
Speechless. Thank you very much. Please, we can now post for photo ops. This photos, press photos, journalists, content creators. You know, it's a global movement now. Yes. PDG, sorry, PDG, join us, yes? Oh, yeah, he will find me, I know this, but I will forgive it. All right, please join. It's now time for lunch. Sorry? No. Yeah, so have this book back so you can capture everyone. Thank you. I count of 3. 1, 2, 3. So if you're not a Rotarian here, come and join us. Mazi, come and join us. Rotary is good. I know you're not going to see. Yes, it's not time for lunch because our special guests will have lunch. And we will reconvene. We keep the feedback telling us virtually. You see what we're going to do? All right, so it's last time. We'll reconvene.
Yes, if you can hear me, this is Rotary Chinedu Ebo. I am the vice coordinator of this event. I don't know whether Prof can hear me at this time, please.
Yeah, Chinedu, I can hear you.
Prof, yes. We'll be very glad to listen to your keynote address, and we are all listening, please, at this time. Go ahead, Prof.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I hope everybody can see me.
Prof, you're a host now. You can go ahead.
Yes. I don't know if they can see me. See the slides.
I can see you. I can see you very clearly. We can see you.
Can you see the slide?
No slides here, but we can see you.
Right. Okay. You're not seeing my slide. I think my slide is up. I can see that I'm sharing the slide. So maybe you have a technical problem on your phone. Can you confirm?
Just give me a second. I can see you. I can see your slide. Just hold on a second. I can see your slide now. I can see your slide.
Okay. All right. So thank you for inviting me to speak to you. I'm going to be very quick because I'm supposed to have spoken to you about 15 minutes ago, and time has gone. So I need to move very, very quickly. I'm Professor Kwame. I'm a consultant urological surgeon. I deal with robotic and laparoscopic surgery. I'm here in the UK. That's why I'm not present with you face to face. But nonetheless, you have asked me to talk about early detection, treatment, and management of prostate cancer. It's a very big topic, but I try to give you a summary of the essential ingredients of what you need to know in order to fight prostate cancer and win it. Importantly, you have also asked me to talk about what to do if you're unlucky and your cancer is not detected early enough. So I would mention that as well. And this is how I'm going to take it. So I'll tell you about prostate cancer. I'll tell you about early detection. I'll tell you what I did and what I continue to do here. And I'll talk to you generally about treatment of prostate cancer. I mentioned late detection and what you have to do. Of course, I have to talk to you about the prostate clinic, which is in Lagos, and which you must know about, and you must try and go and visit. And I hope at the end of all this, I will stimulate you to be able to take control and conquer prostate cancer, which is the dream. So I want you to look at this because this slide, unfortunately, tells a very gloomy picture about prostate cancer. And this is a global cancer statistic by Bray et al. In 2022. I'm particularly interested in the graph. If you look on your right-hand side, the red bars That represents the number of people that have died in that region from prostate cancer. On your left-hand side, the blue bars tells you the number of people who have been diagnosed with prostate cancer in the same region. I marked out in red, with the red arrow, the places that I want you to pay attention to. Because if you look on the left-hand side and look at the blue bars, for example, if you look at Northern Europe, which is the topmost bar, the blue bar is large, showing you there's far many people being diagnosed with prostate cancer in Northern Europe, which is where I am. And that includes UK and all the other places. The incidence, the new cases is high, but look at the red bars. It's very small because the death from prostate cancer is low because we find it early, treat it, and they cure it, and people don't die of prostate cancer. But go down to the first arrow that I'm pointing to you. That is the Caribbean, black nation. You look at it, whilst the blue bar is a little bit smaller than Northern Europe, you look at the red bar, that is huge. People are dying in the Caribbean from prostate cancer, black nation. Go to the next red bar, that is Southern Africa. And you look, they have the highest bars of all in red. More people die in Southern Africa than any region in the world. Now come down to Mid-Africa, that includes Chad. Same story. Come to our own place, West Africa. Same story. You see that the red bars big, but the blue bars are not. And that's to show you that less screening, less early detection is happening in West Africa compared to other parts of the world. Okay, I'll go to the next slide. And if you continue in that same theme and look at Europe, I isolate Europe, you see that prostate cancer incidence remains huge. While worldwide, we're talking about 1.5 million diagnoses every year. In Europe alone, it's nearly 500,000 diagnoses every year, and over 100,000 people will die from prostate cancer. If you come to the UK, the same story. I'm a fan of Chelsea, and the stadium, if you've been to Stamford Bridge, the capacity is about 50,000. And that is the number of men being diagnosed from prostate cancer every year in UK. In fact, in the UK, 140 prostate cancer is diagnosed every day in the UK, and 12,000 men would die from the disease. So what about Nigeria? Unfortunately, in Nigeria, there is no centralized data system like we have in Europe, and so information that we have is not concise. But the little isolated pockets of information we get from data that's been published, although not very good papers, they tell the story of a very egregious situation. Now, I picked out two papers, and these are from Southeast, and you see the paper that was reported 3 years ago by Ugumba and Nabugu. 330 men they looked at. I want you to pay attention to what I've marked in red. In the bottom, you will see that 98% of the men in that paper presented with symptoms of prostate cancer. That's bad news. Now, you asked me to talk about early detection screening, but look at the paper. Only 6 patients out of the 331 men actually had screening and early detection of prostate cancer, which is 2%. But look at the table in that paper, which I thought I should copy out. That table tells you, if you look at the bottom, what kinds of symptoms the patients presented with prostate cancer. And as you can see, at the bottom of that table, the obstructive uropathy, which means that the urine has blocked off, the kidney is blown out. Those patients would have dialysis and they will eventually die. Anemia, because why would a patient with prostate cancer present with anemia, which is low blood count? They will present with anemia because the prostate cancer has spread to the bone marrow and has destroyed the bone marrow, and the bones are not able to make new blood. That's why they have anemia. So that is bad news. And if you look at the next one up, you see that they become crippled. Okay, they can't walk because the cancer has invaded the spinal cord and cut it off. And so those are kind of symptoms that the men were presenting with, which is actually quite shocking. You go to Abakaliki. This was reported by Ajape and his colleagues. They looked at small number, 73 patients. But what I want you to see is that all of them, 100%, presented with symptoms of prostate cancer. No early detection, no screening. And look at the bottom. They had bilateral orchidectomy, which means nearly 40% of them had their testicles removed. If you have prostate cancer that you need to have your testicles removed, it's incurable. And that's why the situation is very bad. So now, it doesn't give me any joy. That's why I left this slide blank, so that you can have 2 or 3 seconds to reflect on the bad situation that I've told you now. That in our country, in Nigeria, people are dying, presenting with symptoms, nearly 100% of men in papers that have been published, and they're dying from the disease, and very minimal men are having screening and early detection of prostate cancer. That's quite bad.
But Prof, will you please pause here, because somebody wants to say something quickly to you before you continue your presentation. Just a second.
All right.
Odudu
Bareba. Odudu Bareba.
You know, so I got in my nugo.
Amen. Thank you.
On Saturday.
Yes.
I just told them that we'll be able to screen like about 400 people.
Very good.
You know, so but I know that by next year we're changing, so we can also help people, you know, to get the operation.
Yes,
you know?
that will be fantastic.
So thank you. They've done drag me since morning. I've been here, so I just wanted to say hello.
Thank you so much. And I sent you an invitation. Yeah, you need to be there. Yeah. I sent you an invitation on WhatsApp. Check your WhatsApp message.
Okay, I will. I will.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. All right.
Go ahead.
Okay. So now, the next thing I want to mention about, because we're talking about early detection, why would you even bother detecting prostate cancer early? Is it just so that you can be alive? But there is a cost. And that cost is what I want to tell you about. This paper is very, very important to me. And I show this paper nearly everywhere that I speak about this issue. Now, it's a paper that was done by Robon and looked at patients around the world and the cost of prostate cancer. Now, if you look at the annual cost, if you go and have screening, detect prostate cancer early, treat it. It will cost you $10,000 to diagnose prostate cancer in the US, and then you will treat it. But even after the treatment, the continued care will only cost you $2,000 every year to go visit a doctor, do a blood test, and that is it, and you go home. But look at the bottom. If your cancer has spread and you are going to die from prostate cancer, we know you're going to die. But look at the cost. It will cost you $33,000 every year just to keep you alive until you die. $33,000 every year. That is 300% more you will spend than if you screen and get treated and cured just to stay alive, but ultimately you will die of the disease. So that is a very stark difference, and the reason why governments are paying attention to the issue of early detection of prostate cancer. And there is an economic burden as well, which I want to expand. If your cancer spreads, this is how much it's going to cost you, those drugs that we use to treat people with metastatic prostate cancer. Unfortunately, some of these drugs are difficult to get in Nigeria, like enzalutamide. They are very expensive. But look at this, is a paper from Germany. If you need chemotherapy, cabazitaxel is a chemotherapy that you use for people with prostate cancer that have spread. It will cost you every month 7,600 euros. I don't know how much they sell euro in Nigeria now, but you can multiply that and you see it's millions and millions just for you to be alive. Abiraterone will cost you money. Enzalutamide will cost you 5,000 euros a month. Even when you are now dying, when we've withdrawn treatment and say it's best supportive care, that is the BSC at the bottom of the slide. That will still cost you 1,000 euros. And you're not being treated, just painkillers waiting to die. So it's expensive to treat prostate cancer when it's spread. It will cost you your whole fortune before the end will ultimately prevail. So what are the causes of prostate cancer? We don't know the exact cause of prostate cancer, but we do know the risk factors for prostate cancer. And number one risk factor for prostate cancer I've listed there is family history. If you have a father or brother, first degree relatives, uncle, people that are close to you with prostate cancer, you have 2 to 3 times increased risk of developing prostate cancer in your lifetime compared to people that don't have a family history of prostate cancer. In fact, what we now know is that if you got a family history of prostate cancer, you're likely to develop prostate cancer early in your life, 7 years before the average population. So you're likely to develop prostate cancer before you're 50 years old. And we now know the genetic mutation that is responsible for it. Those are called the BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes. Being black, like everybody on this platform, is unfortunately a risk factor for prostate cancer. And if you're getting older, 50 years, that's where prostate cancer is going to begin to manifest. So you need to pay attention to that as well. So these are the 3 established risk factors for prostate cancer. But there are a few other risks that have been identified, not directly causing prostate cancer, but people that with those risks tend to have aggressive and life-threatening prostate cancer. For example, if you're big, and you can know that you're big if you take a tape and measure your tummy around your umbilicus, all right? If it's more than 102 centimeters, you are big. And studies have confirmed that you're at increased risk of developing prostate cancer. And even when you develop it, it's likely to be aggressive. There are other things that have been suggested. If you're diabetic, taking metformin, in one study, they found that people taking metformin had lower incidence of prostate cancer. But all these things have not been confirmed. I just mentioned it here so that rumors and people don't go and start doing things. Just know that these are not established preventive measures for prostate cancer. Can you prevent prostate cancer? Well, it has been looked into. A lot of money spent, trials upon trials. Unfortunately, there is no conclusive data to support preventive measures for prostate cancer in diet. Nothing like that. In fact, the only thing that's been found are all associations. If you have a bald head, you're likely to develop high-risk prostate cancer because it's been found in studies that people that are bald tend to develop prostate cancer and usually high risk. If you smoke, like every other cancer, there is an association with developing prostate cancer. All right. So soy and all those things that people go and eat, it's useless. There's no association. So who should have early detection of prostate cancer? Well, I've given you a list here. In general, men who are 50 years and older should consider having their blood test, the PSA, done. If you're black, then you should consider it at the age of 45. If you have a family history of prostate cancer, consider starting the test at 45 years old. If you have this genetic mutation that I mentioned about, especially BRCA2 gene mutation, we test them routinely here in the UK. It's going to come to Nigeria. We're going to start testing it in not too distant future. If you have that mutation, then you should really, I strongly recommend that you consider beginning to test your PSA at the age of 40. And most people with family history of prostate cancer fall into this category. And so how would you actually screen for prostate cancer? I just listed this to you. I don't want to bore you too much, but if you have to do a blood test, the PSA, we have various PSA modifications that we can use to further increase the sensitivity of PSA. The doctor is likely to use the finger and examine your prostate. And I put in red, don't let anybody touch you in 2025 and say they are doing a biopsy on your prostate if you haven't had a multiparametric MRI scan. It is no longer done. We've abandoned blind biopsies, so nobody should touch you. You need an MRI scan if your PSA is high. Of course, prostate biopsy is mandatory, and in this day and age, we do a transperineal MRI fusion biopsies. That's the gold standard. That's what we do here in the UK, and that's what you will get if you come to the prostate clinic in Lagos. It's the same standard, and there is no risk of infection for you. But I take you through a little bit, 1 or 2 slides about biopsies, because I think that it's very important that you're aware of this. Yeah. Biopsy has evolved over the years. That's how we started. Before 1989, urologists would biopsy with finger guidance and put there. Sometimes they even poke themselves with needles and things like that. Okay, until 1989, when Hodge reported the first systematic biopsy, he moved on very quickly. Stanley thought if you go to the outside, you'll get more cancer, and people also describe a fine shape. All those things were being done at that time until 2001, when transperineal biopsy was first described using a brachytherapy template. These are templates that we use here to do this thing. But the problem quickly emerged that people, if they do all that, you find cancer, but they bleed and bleed a lot. So that wasn't really acceptable here in the UK at the time. We found a way in 2009 how you can do this biopsy and avoid bleeding, and we reported our first series, and it was fantastic, and we won the prize at that year for this adventure that we proposed. And we also involved in many researches here in my department. My research team, we are involved in all these trials that you can see there, and some of them are being concluded and will change practice in the next few years. So if you have a cancer that is all contained within the prostate, you've been very good. You have had an early detection of prostate cancer, and it's all contained within the prostate, which is what we want. You can't change what you've got. If you got cancer, you've got it. But is it contained? If it's contained, it's called localized prostate cancer. And is it curable? The answer is capital yes, it can be cured. And how can you do it? You can do it with surgery. If you're afraid of surgery, then you can have hormones with external beam radiation therapy. Hormones means castration. Please, if it's equivalent to removing your testicles, but you can achieve that with tablet and injections, and that will effectively cut off your testicle from functioning. So that's castration. Before you can have radiation, you must have castration to have radiation. And radiation on its own, it's not effective. It's not a good treatment without castration added to it. So be very careful when you're choosing your choice if you're diagnosed with prostate cancer. But the most important thing, if you choose to have radiation, be informed that radiation is a one-off. If you have it, you can't have surgery, because to attempt surgery, even though it's technically feasible, it will leave you destroyed. So we don't do it. So if you're considering radiation, you must be very careful and be aware that if you are 60 years old and you're having radiation and your cancer comes back when you're 62, 65, you can't have any meaningful treatment. It becomes difficult, and you'll be in a very bad situation. So surgery, most people will tend to have surgery. If you look at big trials that look at treatment of prostate cancer, if you look at ratio, surgery versus radiation is usually in the range of 3 to 1. So most people, and you'll see that one that's having radiation, usually they're older men that tend to have radiation. So you must pay attention. So we concentrate on the surgery now, and how can you do it? These days, let me just tell you now, open surgery is finished. Open surgery is finished. It's not a treatment that you can be having. You can't have the treatment in 2025. I can tell you now that we don't teach open surgery in the UK again. We don't. In fact, I don't even know, more than 20 years now. All right, people cut you open. The surgeon is blind, assistant is blind. They will not see anything. You will be damaged and crippled. There is no doubt about that. You must have your treatment with minimally invasive technique. The robot is the gold standard. But of course, people that are extremely experienced like myself can do it and achieve the same result with laparoscopic surgery. Okay, so that's how you do it. And you do it, you go home the next day, and everything will do, because the camera will magnify the image. And this is laparoscopic surgery that when we did it in Lagos for the first time, 2022, and that's the setup. And we did quite a lot of this procedure. If you remove the prostate, that's how they look. They are different. They come in different shapes and sizes, the prostate, but you can see that we completely remove it. It looks beautiful, like a nice specimen should be. And we did over 160 cases. I haven't updated this slide, but I'm sure we did more than this. But everybody had 1 or 2 nights stay. There was no transfusion, there's no problem. Everybody recovered quickly, and they're safe. I've got a collection now of many people that have been cured from prostate cancer. But of course, we quickly moved it very quickly to take it to the gold standard, because that's what the whole idea of coming to Nigeria is, to change surgery in a radical way. Our people have suffered so much. They've come here in UK treated like second citizens. We don't want that. We want our people to have the right treatment. So we quickly changed it, developed robotic surgery, and brought it to Nigeria for the first time. And that's how it looks. The Da Vinci robot is the gold standard robot. Don't be fooled and don't be used for experimental treatment. Okay, there are robots from all these other things. You cannot compare Rolls-Royce and Beatles. They are not the same. Okay, so this is the Rolls-Royce of robot, Da Vinci, and it's been time tested. There's over 17 million operations have been done with this machine, all safe. Every year with the Da Vinci robot, 3 million operations are done worldwide. And there is no problem. There's over 3 million systems have been installed in everywhere worldwide. This is the robot that we use in UK, America, everywhere in the world, that is safe and sound. And that's the gold standard robot. So that's how it looks. And you have a few keyholes, and you can dock the robot into the patient, and you can look and you can operate. The camera of the robot can magnify the image 10 times. Imagine it's like operating with big microscope. You can see everything, see the nerves, and you can peel them off without any destruction of normal tissues, which is very important in the recovery of the patient and functional outcomes. Okay. There are different robots. I thought that I show you the different robots. I've used most of them. This is me and my team in Belgium. We went to the Aussie Academy to use the CMR robot. And these robots, they're good, but there are issues with these robots that are beyond this discussion. But that is good for you to know. I consult for a robotic company. I help to develop it for them. This is the Dexter machine, and that's me and my assistant trying it in Strasbourg before they got the license to do it. So you need a 3D glass to use this one. It has its own applications and things like that. Okay. So this is the most advanced robot, as I told you, Da Vinci. But I want you to see, the bottom thing I wrote there is 7 degrees of freedom. If you look at your hand, you have 7 degrees of freedom. That's the normal human being, 7 degrees of freedom of movement of your hands. That's what the robot has. So if you move, every movement that you can do with your hands can be mimicked by the robot and be done. So that is why it's got high level of precision that is beyond what you can imagine. So very important. But of course, we developed this clinic in Lagos so that we can harmonize a center of excellence from where we can then beam technology to the whole world. So from this seemingly boutique clinic in VI in Lagos, we assembled artificial intelligence, automation, robotic to beam it to the whole country, Africa, and the world. And so in that clinic, you should be able to get all the excellent treatments that are the same compared to anywhere in the world. And of course, this is how our theater looks. That's the robotic theater. You can see the console and the chair that is green, where I sit down and manipulate the robot. The robot is in the far inside picture that you can see, and the patient will lie on the table, and then the robot is docked onto the patient, and I manipulate it sitting down on the console. And that was the governor who kindly came to commission the place, because that was the first of its kind and remains the most excellent setup. Okay, you can have copycats, that's fine, but they can't be excellent, and that's the problem. So, but training will happen at the TPC for those who wish to be excellent at doing this thing in the near future. And this is me sitting on the console, very happy. Usually my happiest moments when I sit on the console to operate. It gives me a special joy indeed. And within 2 hours, it's all done and dusted. And when you see the patient after the operation, they look nice and beautiful, and they can eat and drink and enjoy themselves. Okay, I think that I show you a little bit how the robot operates. This has been docked. It's now inside the patient. That's the arm of the robot, the scissors. You can see me operating now. This is a prostatectomy on a very nice gentleman that did. So the system automatically records these things, and then we can show you like that. So that's just me dropping the bladder, because we have to drop the bladder before we get to the front to do the prostate. Just see that hardly any bleeding, nothing. You can't even know that we're cutting anything. You can see nice and fresh, everything being done. See the arm of the robot being moved, and the bladder is now nicely dropped down. You see? And then now we're approaching the prostate to begin to see how you can pinpoint every little detail can be magnified and pinpointed. Okay. Now, just did a very nice dissection of the fat, and we send it up for analysis. Now, the prostate will be mobilized. You see, that's how your prostate looks on the inside. I know you all will be interested in seeing how this thing works, but this is how it is. And now, I'm going to stitch it. This is the major blood vessel that supplies the prostate. We stitch it nicely, tie it. Just see that there's hardly any bleeding. Everything is nicely done and controlled. There is no problem. Tissues are not destroyed. Nothing. The nerves are there. Now, we're opening the bladder so that we can separate it from the prostate, and then remove the prostate and refix the bladder back to your urethra. And so you see, this one, I did a nice urethral sparing. Yeah, okay. You can see that is it. That is it, nicely done. And then I just open it. The catheter is there, so we're going to take it out and then use it to suspend the prostate upwards so that we can go behind and then remove it from behind, and it will all be nicely done. So this is a technique that we perfected here in UK over many years, and it's nice. So now we're going behind the prostate. The prostate is suspended up with the catheter, and very interesting. So that what we are removing now is the vas deferens, which gives you ejaculation. What brings the sperm into the urethra. Okay, so we dissect it, we peel off everything. It's all looking nice, very beautiful. And then now everything is controlled. This is the nerves now being taken care of, so that the patient will have erection afterwards. We are now taking the nerves, everything sequentially, small. There's hardly anything, In the olden days, this operation, by now you've lost a bucket full of blood. If you haven't open surgery, they will give you blood transfusion because you're going to lose blood. So this is the everything peeled. See, the prostate is dangling now, and then I'm going to detach it now. Okay, and you can see, nice, very beautiful, and it's all detached. And then put in a bag, and we'll remove it all intact. That's it. Now prostate is gone. You can see the nerves on both sides lying down. Now I'm fixing the bladder now back to the urethra. We're fixing it. Okay. And that's excellent. In the next 2 minutes, it will all be over. All right. You see, they're all coming together now. Okay. Everything being fixed now. You see why catheter is important, just to allow the joining to heal. It takes about a week, and the catheter will be removed, and then you go and start enjoying your life and forget prostate. Yeah, you see how the arms of the robot moves, and that there's no human arm that can mimic this one. Okay. The robot doesn't do the operation. It's the surgeon that does the operation. Very important for you to know. Don't think that the robot, you just program it, it starts doing the operation. No, 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 no. If you have a bad surgeon, you still have a bad outcome with robot. Okay? So training is important. We've been doing this thing for 20 years. So that's important. All right. So you can see. So we've done 65 prostates in just under 6 months. We do like 10 every 2 weeks, you know, so it's quite a lot of patients that we currently operate in. Everybody's happy, nice, and back with their family, forget prostate cancer. And so what should you do? I think this is the question that you're going to ask me. Okay, so I thought I'd give you this slide so that it will become very clear for you to summarize it. Okay, if you have a family history of prostate cancer, it is mandatory for you, mandatory, I put it in bold, yeah, to start to test your PSA, which is a simple blood test. And I can tell you, you know, from the age of 45, but if you're in the subset that have that genetic mutation, then you should consider it from the age of 40. If you have symptoms, that is opportunistic testing. If you're waking up 5 times at night, don't ignore it. Go and see a urologist that know what they are doing. If you don't know a urologist that know what they're doing, you come to the TPC and we'll see you and we'll sort you out and then make sure that it's not prostate cancer. Okay? And consider it in general from the age of 50 years. And don't forget, MRI scan before any biopsy, and you need a transperineal fusion biopsy. Don't have any biopsy, they poke you through your backside. They will carry poo-poo and enter your prostate and you will be in ITU. Yeah? So you need to have the proper biopsy that if you have it at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, you're in your office and nobody will know that you've had anything. So to answer your last question to me and say, you know, what would you do? Okay, you for everything that is said, you are still unfortunate that you didn't get it early, if it's late. There are 2 categories of late diagnosis of prostate cancer. One is locally advanced, which means it hasn't spread out to other parts of the body. It's still in the prostate, but it's gone outside the prostate. It's still in the pelvis. That is locally advanced prostate cancer. The other one is worse. That's when it's spread. It's gone out of the prostate. It's gone to lymph nodes or bone or somewhere. Sometimes it can go to your brain. That is metastatic prostate cancer. So those are the 2 categories of presentation for late diagnosis. Now, if you look at England, I just wanted to give you the statistic to put it in context. In this country, where I am now, the percentage of prostate cancer that presents with metastatic disease is less than 20%. Now, in Nigeria, I'm showing you one paper. This paper is even mild. 81% of patients are coming with advanced prostate cancer and nearly 60% of them are metastatic at presentation. So that gives you the difference, the stark difference between what is happening in our country and what is happening in the first world countries. And that's what we're trying to change. And that's why I'm speaking to you today. So we don't want late diagnosis, but if you're unfortunate to be in that situation, there are remedies. You need to come to the TPC where we see you. Staging and risk assessment is key. It's key for you to be appropriately staged and assessed so that we can give you the right treatment that is targeted, and you might be suitable for radiation therapy, which in most cases would be significantly better and control it for you to be able to live your normal life. So come and be seen. Even if it's late, there are remedies for every situation in prostate cancer, and we have network all over the world that we can get that treatment to you. And that is very important. So please don't go and start drinking soursop or trying to meet babalawo or somebody to drink tomato in your house and thinking that it will just disappear. It's not going to happen. Okay, it will just be worse. And you don't want to be in the situation where it cuts off your spinal cord and you cannot walk. And that's a terrible situation to be. So I acknowledge all the people that continue to do research with me, and some of the ones that I did research with. A few of them have retired here, and so, but I still acknowledge them. You know, these are a subsection of my team. The picture I could find last night to put, but I'm sure that I need to update that picture and show more of my team members that continue to do amazing things, and who I value and cherish a lot, and hope that we can all do great things for Nigeria and Africa in the future. So I think I should end it here. Right, Chinedu, you can take it. Any questions?
Wow, Prof. I don't know what to say. We don't know what to say. This is a very rich lecture. Unfortunately, we won't be able to organize ourselves to ask any questions. What we will plead with you is that if we have questions, we have established a channel with you now. We'll send some written questions over to you, and if you have comments to make, we will take that up. We have recorded you throughout this presentation, and we are going to share it extensively with not only Rotarians, but to our communities where we serve. And we are working with Charlie Boys Foundation and SynLab to see how best we can support our community and to ensure that the men's health is taken, given the actual priority. So on behalf of the Rotary District 9111 and 9112, having clubs in Lagos and Ogun State. And as a matter of fact, on behalf of the Rotary International, because this your presentation is live on our Rotary Radio and all our social media handles. So we want to thank you, Prof, for this gift of information which you have given us this evening. We are very grateful and we thank you. And thank you so much. We will be reaching out to you later on to show more of our appreciation and to send you a plaque of thank you for spending your treasure and, as a matter of fact, your time to teach us this evening. So I want to, on behalf of my district governor, say thank you so much for giving us this rich knowledge. We are all clapping virtually and clapping here, and we want to tell you that we are happy that we have heard from you. Thank you so much, Prof.
Yeah, my assistant is saying hello to all of you as well. Thank you so much, Inedu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And when next we are in Lagos, we would like to drag you to our office in Ikeja. They want to touch this voice, not only hear the voice, but touch this voice that has spoken to them today. You have given us a lot to think about, but we want to thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Prof.
So much. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.